Hey guys, Corey here with a new scrapbook process video for you using HipKit stuff. So it's Sketch Friday over at HipKit, and this is this week's sketch. You are able to go and download your own copy on the Facebook page, and then of course if you play along and you're chosen as the winner, you get a $10 gift card to the shop, which is always fun. So anyhow, this is my jumping off point for this week's page. I love using sketches. They're so much fun because they're just really, they're just a great way to start it's a great way to start a page. It's just, I kind of feel like anything can come out of it. You can either stay straight up, with that sketch, or you can kind of interpret it the way you want to. And I think that's always a fun way to get started. I'm also using the November 2019 kits, which are all Christmassy. I also purchased the December documented kit, but guys, I'm not using any of that. I'm saving all of that for my December documented album that I'm going to be doing the whole month of December. So I'm really excited about that. So just the November kits in this one. And also, because it's so Christmassy, obviously it's a Christmas kit, I initially was like, oh, I won't use it, and it's so Christmassy because it's November and I don't have new Christmas pictures. But then I said, you know what, that's just ridiculous. It's so Christmassy and so adorable. I wanted to make sure that I did use a Christmas picture. So I did go through my albums, and I found out that I had not scrapped a picture of the Christmas pajamas that my girls were in 2016. So it's just a tradition that I've got every year that they get the matching pajamas. And so 2016, I'm going back a few years, but that's okay. So I'm using the color kit right here, and what I had done initially was just use some of the Lindy Stamp Gang, the magical shaker powder with water to get some color on the background, and then I actually mixed it with an acrylic ink to give it that light pink, and I did it in layers so that the acrylic would be over the more watercolory type of drops, and I would dry it in between the layers because I didn't want them to blend together. I like the look because you can kind of see the different colors and the different layers together, and I really like that, but it was really important that I made sure it dried in between, because otherwise if you've got like a glob of wetness down and you put more wetness on it, it just all merges together, and that's not what I wanted to do. So once I did that, I actually had to print a second copy of my photo because I had gotten, of course, pink acrylic ink all over it from my splatters. So once I got that done and everything was dry, I decided to go ahead and use this really cool stencil and just some light modeling paste over that just to give it some texture. And because I didn't put it on super thick, what's kind of cool is it just kind of like the color behind it actually comes through. So while in this video you can't really see it too well when you're up close, it gives it just this great kind of Christmassy texture in the background, but the color still bleeds through, just kind of like it would, with a really fluid paint. So it's pretty cool. And then I decided I would try and use the stamps with some of this the acrylic ink that I had mixed. It says joy, and I thought it would be kind of cool if I could get it to work. It sort of worked a little bit, not perfectly, it says love. It sort of worked, but not perfectly, but still it looks kind of cool, and it's just kind of extra on the side of the page. Now my modeling paste was not actually all the way dry at this point. I did have to help it out or wait a little bit longer. I didn't want to start working with it before it was all the way dry because it is easy to smudge it, and then, good grief, that is just terrible. So then the sketch had sort of like a little banner, I felt like, up at the top, so I just pulled out some papers that I thought would work with my color scheme here, and to make a little banner more above the photograph. And I'm just cutting strips randomly. They're not like all the same size. They're all close, but not really, just so that I can get like these little banner pieces put in. I am really excited to start taking some more Christmas pictures this year. I really am ready to start decorating, and I've kind of pulled in some things already, even though my husband's not like a super fan of the decorating really. But I did go ahead and change out all the girls' bedding because I have Christmas bedding on all of their beds, and so I did go ahead and do that, and I did put the little new throw pillows on the couch in the living room. But other than that, I really need to wait until next week to really get going for decorating for Christmas. Now, he'd like me to wait until after Thanksgiving, which I will wait on the Christmas trees until after Thanksgiving, but everything else I think is going to start getting busted out as soon as the girls are on break and I can sucker them into helping me carry everything upstairs. So I'm going to go ahead and keep embellishing this page. So the title of this page is 2016 Christmas PJs. Pretty basic, but that's really what this picture is. And when I flip back through my albums in December, typically I always have a photo scrapbooked from their Christmas PJs. One thing I did with this page though is I was just like working on it. I end up actually moving things around a bunch because I didn't plan this super well. I was just like, oh, that looks perfect. I'm just going to smack it down right there. And then once I got my Christmas on there, I was like, oh, yeah, that doesn't really work there. So then I'm moving the 2016. I do this actually multiple times to the point where I'm actually I added adhesive to the back of the 2016 here, and then also when I put down PJs, I end up moving that one. I actually end up pulling up the Christmas a little bit, and that was just really poor planning on my part. That happens sometimes. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Sometimes it's really easy and it flows all perfectly at the beginning, and other times you realize, oops, and you just have to be really gentle and take this stuff off. So one thing that I'm struggling a little bit with this page is that I really don't want to use any of the November kits for any projects other than my December documented album. How sad is that? Like, I love it all so much, and I don't want to. I feel like I'm almost wasting it on these pages. How terrible is that? It's of course not wasted. But I want to save everything and use it all for my December documented because I've got an issue with embellishments. They're like my favorite. And so, what if I start my album and then I don't have enough stuff? Oh my God, that would be so terrible. And I didn't buy extra. I should have gotten like extra, kits or something like that. Like that probably would have been really smart had I done that. Anyhow. So I'm just going to have to be careful, I guess. I don't know. I've got another page that's going to come out next week that I'm using these kits for too. And, I'm just going to have to try and, use my supplies wisely. Okay. So anyhow, I'm getting this banner down. I am going to use glue for it for right now, hot glue, because it made it really easy because I kept pushing little pieces around and everything. But then I am going to run it through the sewing machine and just stitch it because every good banner's got to have some, stitching on it to really keep it down and make it look like a banner, not just like pieces of paper that you've got stuck to your page. I'm going to add a few little embellishments here and there, heart, some stars, some little snowflakey little things. There's so many cool pieces in this kit, but again, I'm hoarding them. So I'm trying to use things wisely. Anyhow, so just getting all these little pieces here and there. I am glad that I made the background as busy as I did because it really helps to make it look like there's lots of embellishments on the page when you've got an interesting background. So like from this view right here in the video, you can't really see all the texture and everything else, but when I'm looking at the page up close, I can see it and the different, just the tone of the white on white, and then I can also see how it breaks up the splatters and the modeling paste, how it breaks up the splatters. And so I really do like that. I think it came out really well. So here's another time where I'm having to actually rip up some of my letter stickers. I'm moving the PJs. I'm actually going to have to also rip up a little bit from the Christmas thing. And it all goes back together, but again, this was just poor planning on my part. So had I really looked through and planned my page at all beforehand, I wouldn't have had to make these adjustments. But luckily, it all worked out just fine. I found that if you've got a good X-Acto knife and you're really gentle, typically you can move things around without creating too much of an issue. Another good thing is that while I love hot glue and I love how instantly it adheres things down, it actually is fairly easy to kind of like pop off, which I guess long term probably isn't a good thing, especially when I don't want things down of swimming at the bottom of my page protector. But for when you're moving stuff around, it really does. Once this page is finished, though, I do go in and I use my sewing machine to stitch over the 2016 and the PJs, because I did want to make sure that that doesn't come off. That is my biggest problem, is when things like the letter stickers eventually come off. So I do almost always try to stitch things down or add in extra adhesive. So I'm adding just some star stamps here and there. I've got this great ink Encore Ultimate Metallic Silver. I don't know where it's from. It's from my stash, and it is probably 10 years old, but oh my gosh, it makes a great kind of matted metallic-y silver image. It's a great ink. Like I said, no idea where it came from, but it's probably really old. And then I'm just going to continue to add some stuff. The journaling on this page really is just going to be about how it's going to put, I'm going to put each of the girls' name on there because, you know, it's important. And then also that they're all dressed up and waiting for Santa. Because that one little Christmas tree that was on there was kind of lonely, I decided that I wanted to add a couple other ones. But also, again, because of my placement of the PJs, it kind of messed things up a little bit too. So it didn't come out exactly how I wanted it to. But that's okay, because we just make things work. So that's what we're doing. We're just making things work. And quite honestly, like, I so love these little Christmas trees. I think maybe HipKit had those a couple of years ago or something similar. They were definitely not the same, but like some cool little Christmas tree things in the Christmas kits. And oh my gosh, I just remember loving them, and then like hoarding it and not wanting to use them. But I did eventually use them. But oh my gosh, like, I love them. So I think that was 2 years ago though, because you know, whatever. So anyhow, I am going to use 3 of these little Christmas trees, get these on my page. I just love Christmas stuff, guys. Like, seriously. So my little group of girlfriends that I walk with on some mornings during the week, we've all decided that, you know, like any scientific study supposedly that says that Christmas stuff makes you a happier person, we've decided it's definitely true. And so this page is just totally helping with that happiness aspect. So anyhow, I added my journaling, and I'm just going back through to see if there's a few little things that I could add. I did add a little banner that said my favorite things, which this is one of my favorite things. And then I'm just going to add a little star puffy sticker at the very end. I guess I felt like it was one that I could use on this page and not save for later. So, but there you guys go. That is my page. So here it is all finished, and then also there's a few little close-ups. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Seriously, if you have not picked up some of these December or November hip kits, you guys better rush over there, because I think some of them are actually sold out, but hopefully you can snag the one that you want before it's gone. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram at Corrie J Creative. Bye.